Good morning, everybody. It's Lynn, the Leather Bag Lady. How are you all today on this cool Monday morning Leather Bag Lady weather report? The sun is splitting in the skies, but it's a little cool. Not kind of Christmas weather cool yet. We did have some flurries this morning, and we had some flurries on Saturday, I do believe. But Leatherbag Lady Weather Report, it is just trying to decide what season it wants to be. So here we are. So in the shed again, haven't done my shed tour for you yet, but I will get to that. Today's bag is by a company, a Canadian maker who is no longer in business, Carnegie Mann, Leather by Mann. If you follow me regularly, you will know that that is a favorite of mine, not necessarily for any other reason than the simple styling and the quality construction. These bags are simple, simple, simple. So this is today's bag. So his bags are typically a similar shape. There will just be some elements of decoration. So here you've got some lacing and this little weighted overhang. The strap is not adjustable. It is a 19-inch strap drop, but you could, at a push, get it crossbody. I am a curvier lady, so this sits a little higher on me than it might do you. But it is a shoulder bag for sure. And it is well loved. And I say that just because the leather is really well worn in, but that does not bother me at all. I've listed it as a 7 out of 10 just because the leather is, you know, it's well loved. It's a vintage bag. I've dated it the 80s. It does have some compartments. There's your Leather by Mann zipper compartment divider with a zipper, and then another compartment. It has a leather, a velvet-like interior. Could it be 70s? It could be, but I've listed it as an 80s bag. Has the zipper across the top, as well as this little weight accent. Just adds a little something. And I would not be at all surprised if this wasn't actually brass. It has a bit of weight to it, which is the whole purpose of it being there. So that is today's fabulous bag. Carnegie Mann, I do believe, was a European maker. We've talked about this before, about Canada being such a multicultural country and how we have benefited from craftsmen coming from Europe, coming from, you know, all over the world, and offering us their expertise here in Canada. I think at one point I had over 40 countries represented, and by tag representation. So this is a Canadian made bag, but this gentleman, I'm not sure, is he Bulgarian, or there's obviously a European maker. And I mean, that's where the craftsmen come from. Like Canada was built on immigrants coming from their home countries and offering us the beauty of their trades and their crafts. So I always, if it's a decent enough shaped bag and it's from Carnegie Mann, Leather by Mann, I will always pick them up because I just really, really like them. So that is today's bag. What did we get up to? Friday night, did I speak to you on Saturday? I'm not sure. Friday I had an attitude. Pius and I had a little difference of opinion. So I pretty well spent the whole day in here. But it was good. You know, we needed a little bit of space from each other. And I think it kind of put him in a position where he had to do some stuff himself, which I felt a bit bad about. But he's up and running. He went out dry. He had some errands to run this morning, so he did that. And I went to the gym, and came home, and here I am now in the shed. We had fiber optic internet installed on Friday, and the service here in my shed is even worse than it was prior. So I've just spent an hour on the phone with them, had 2 disconnections, and basically Virgin Internet is telling me there's nothing they can do. And I do not understand how I am literally at the max 20 feet from my modem. Yes, I'm in a separate building, but there is a 6-foot picture window right beside my modem, and there are 2 windows in this shed. So it's not like I've got steel doors, steel walls, whatever, separating me from this fiber optic, super, super fast internet connection when I can't even log into YouTube on my TV here in my shed. I can get it on my phone, but I can't get it on my TV. So I'm not very happy. And basically their answer was, you might need to go to another provider. I'm like, oh my God, in 2023, what company tells you to go someplace else? Now, if it was something that was, like, example, story time, here we go. So back in the 80s, my dad wanted to purchase silk pajamas for my mom for Christmas. And of course, left it until like 2 days before Christmas. And my mom is not a silk pajama person, but I guess my dad was struggling a little bit. So we went to Oakville Place, and we went to Pier 1. No, not Pier 1. I'm not sure what the store was we went to, but it was a very upmarket ladies store. And the clerk, the service lady, whatever, the sales lady, was amazing. I would say I was probably between 15 and 18 years old, I would say. And I went with my dad, and this woman, it was 10 minutes till closing. She did not have what my dad wanted. So she called a lingerie store downtown Oakville, called them, found out they had what my dad wanted, asked them to stay open to wait for my dad to get there. And we got the pajamas my dad wanted for my mom. And that experience has guided me in my whole professional life as to customer service. Now, I am not saying by any stretch that my customer service matches that all of the time. I have my bad days. I have my days where I would rather stick my big toe up somebody's butt than go out of my way to help them. Very rare, but those days do happen. And but I have spoken to my kids with that experience in my mind, and what I said to them is, don't just do the bare minimum. Go a little bit above and beyond. Surprise your customer. I think I've said this on this channel before. Do something that will make the customer go, wow, and that will stick with that customer. It may not result in immediate, further business or whatnot, but here I am, 40 years later, 38 years later, still talking about this experience that I had in a store. What the heck was the store called? It's in my head, but I can't remember the name. Getting old, people. Getting very old. So that was Friday. We did not go to the hockey game. Pius has had a rough few days. I think our Monday and Tuesday, this time last week, we were in Toronto. Pius was just out of surgery, and I was running around looking for meds and wheelchair for him. We got back Monday. We went for breakfast. He came home Tuesday. It was like I had a bad cold. I was worse than he was. And then it hit. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there was no way we were going to a hockey game. Saturday, we did go to the Christmas party, Pius's Christmas party. Harry drove us, which was really cool to kind of spend some time with Harry. It was not as good as last year's party. They had a hypnotist, and your girl went up there. Load of shit. For me, it was anyway. And one of Pius's buddies was up there with me, and we were just knocking elbows and laughing, and it was an hour long. It was way too long. It needed to be half that, if that. So we got there at 5:30. We didn't get home till 11:45. The meal was fabulous. But it was just nice to spend some time with Pius's colleagues and their wives. We always have a good time. Harry was bored out of his tree, so I don't think he will ever go again unless he has a nice young lady with him. I was trying to set him up. I was pointing out the one, yeah, don't bring that home. There was a very pretty young lady, but she had black roots down to about here and then like orange hair, like back in the 80s, that sun-in stuff that you used to use in your hair and it would make it go orange. And then she had like a cardigan on backwards, so it was all open in the back, which is fine, but it looked all ratty, and she had this long silk skirt on with the tag hanging out the back. And I said, Harry, do not bring that home. But we had fun. And Saturday, what did we do Saturday? That was Saturday. And then Sunday, we didn't really do much of anything. We went to my mom's and had a little happy birthday for Harry. We gave Harry a watch that Pius purchased some years ago, has never worn it. And it's a dive watch. Harry's a little bit of a watch guy. So I said to Pius when we were packing his house up, I said, would you have a problem if we gifted that to Harry? Because I think he really would appreciate it. He loved it. He just was so excited. It was really cool. 26 years old. What do you get them? I mean, money used to be a huge issue because he never had any. Well, now he's got a great job. So giving him money is not of any significance, I don't think, anymore. So it was great. He was so excited. So we did that, spent a bit of time with my mom and dad. We went to Value Village. I did a little bit of thrifting. I got a Armani Exchange beautiful black suede bag. I don't think Armani Exchange is any big deal. I think that was their kind of off the rack line. But anyway, it's a beautiful bag. So I will... that is waiting in my to be processed pile. The lighting in my house at the moment is so bad because we have removed the white tarps that were on the ceiling. I never would have guessed that just that whiteness would have given me so much light. I can't really do anything in my house anymore. Like by 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like for me to repaint a bag or to even clean a bag and, get all the areas that need to be either repainted or moisturized, I can't even see it effectively. So I guess most of it will be done in here now. But I have no running water in here, and I don't have, a lot of stuff that I need in here. So it's a work in progress being in here. And then yesterday we didn't do much of anything. Like I said, we went and saw my mom and dad, had a little birthday thing with Harry. And then I went to a concert last night with a girlfriend. Pius was supposed to go. It really was kind of my Christmas present. I'm going to have a drink of tea from my Yeti. It's so hot. I made this at, I'm going to say 9 o'clock this morning. So that's 2.5 hours ago. It is now just hot enough that I can actually have a decent drink of it. I love it. I think it's great. Cheers, everybody. Cup of tea. Mm-hmm. So I went to see Terry Clark last night, and Paul Brandt was the opening act, I thought. But the way they set up the performance was they both were on stage the whole time. So the performance started at 7, and I think it ended at about 20 after 9, and they both were on stage for the whole thing. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we went to see, I can never remember his name, Dean Brody. And the theme of a lot of these Canadian country concerts is homecoming. And that was Dean Brody's theme. Definitely was Small Town was Terry Clark and Paul Brandt's. Now, I don't really know anything about Paul Brandt. He was okay. I don't know that I would pay money to go and see him. Terry Clark was fantastic. I don't know a lot of her music. So my learning from that as we move forward to February, where we've got tickets for Sass Jordan on my birthday, we need to learn some of her songs because it made it a little bit, I don't know, but it was still great. It was a very staged performance. Dean Brody was very natural. His conversation was just like, he was sitting in the kitchen having a chat with you. But their banter between the two of them, it was very rehearsed. It was very canned, I felt. Music was fantastic. It was just an acoustic. She had a little bit of a beatbox thing, which was fabulous. But she didn't use that very often. Maybe on 3 or 4 songs she used it. It was very well done, but just, like I said, a little too staged, in my opinion. So I went with my friend Lori, my other buddy Randy's fiance. She is up for anything, this girl. She lives an hour away. Randy lives here in Hamilton, so I just presumed if I invited her, she would stay at Randy's place. She's like, no, I'm going home. I'm like, oh my God, girl, Sunday night before you go back to work on Monday, you're traveling an hour. It was pissing the rain out, but we had a great time. We made it. Our tickets were on the second balcony. Oh my God, the stairs were unreal. So when we got up there, the lady that was manning the door gave us an upgraded ticket for the orchestra section. So we walk all the way back down the stairs, and I said to her, because there was a lot of cowboy hats, I said, there better not be anybody sitting in front of me with a cowboy hat. Well, what happened? This little old man sat down with his big old cowboy hat, so I tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, sir, how attached to that cowboy hat are you? And he just looked at me. I said, because I cannot see anything with your hat on. I said, I am going to ask you to consider taking it off. I'm not demanding it. You do what you like, but I am asking you to think about it. So I'll leave it with you and you decide what you want to do. And he looked at the lady he was with and she said, nothing to do with me. That's between the two of you. So he stayed sitting in his seat with his hat on. And then when the performance was about to start, he switched seats with the lady who was much shorter and I was able to see. So I was very grateful. And my learning was that I didn't go in with a heavy hand. I asked, I gave him the choice, and it was a beautiful solution. We saw them at the intermission. I thanked them. She appreciated that I approached it the way I did. And it all worked out. So we had a nightmare trying to validate our parking ticket when we were leaving. It wasn't stupid cold, but it was still raining. So there's a whole line of us standing to validate our parking ticket so that we could leave. And anyway, so it was an interesting weekend. We've got a big week this week. I had yet another show cancel for tomorrow for Outbreak. So it is really getting quite dire for me now. I am desperately needing to get cracking on some other stuff that I really didn't even plan on doing. So I am going to be doing some Facebook bag sales. I'm going to start them this week. I have to. So I'm going to share my Facebook page with you, and that will direct you to my .com. Nothing on my .com is vintage. So I'm not sure how I'm going to work it yet, but I figured, you know what? I'm just going to do what I did with YouTube. I mean, COVID hit, my shows got canceled. I was lucky enough that I had enough vintage bags in my stockpile that I had stuff to list. So that's what I'm working on right now, is just getting a quantity of bags listed on leatherbaglady.com, which are there. You can go and check that out if you want. But I'm not officially, I'd like to get at least 50 bags listed before I actually start handing out information about my .com. At the moment, there is shipping. The prices are a little less than you will experience on Etsy, but you do have to pay your shipping. So I'm going to experiment with that, whether or not I just charge a flat rate shipping fee and, kind of manipulate the pricing of the bags a little bit. I'm planning just to be local for now, so there is a pickup option as well. But I mean, if you're in the States, it's gonna probably equal the same kind of pricing that you're experiencing on Etsy with the shipping. Now, obviously these bags are not vintage, but they are beautiful bags. I mean, this is a bag that I've just finished with. This is a Cole Haan. So this is the kind of bag that I will be listing on. There's the shoulder crossbody strap in there. Now, you know, there's always going to be a little something. There's a little mark right there, but that's all there is on this bag, which I didn't see actually initially. So I have to change the listing, because in the listing I've got this as a 9 out of 10, like almost perfect. And then I found that little mark. But this is the kind of stuff that you will see on my .com. So I am going to get connected with Ship Stallion, I think. And then hopefully my shipping prices will come down for the US especially. Not so much in Canada. But I'm going to work all that out. But I got to do something, because this rebooking shows is just not going to work. It was a big show tomorrow. It was a big show on Saturday, this past Saturday, that got canceled. So I have a show Thursday evening. Hopefully that won't get canceled. And I have 3 shows in December, but there is no guarantees that these shows are actually going to happen. And I can't pay my mortgage on that. So this is kind of a COVID reboot where I'm just going to launch my Facebook shows. I'm going to launch you know, wherever I find appropriate to list everything and let you guys know. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the bag shows on YouTube. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. You know, then I'll be in my Purse Trippin', Kristen D, that kind of category. I kind of like it just being that we chat and I show you the Etsy bags, or maybe even I have a completely different channel for the non-vintage stuff. But then that seems kind of silly, because I've worked so hard to get my followers here. But if you're strictly vintage people, then it doesn't really make sense to start showing you not vintage stuff. So if any of you have an opinion on that, or would like to share what you would appreciate, by all means let me know, because you know, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time if it's content you're not really interested in. But you know, as my business coach said, she said, you've cultivated all these connections. Why would you not use them? So I don't know. I'm trying to, as my hair falls out, again, I'm trying to work smarter, not harder. That has been my credo for the last couple of months. And it will definitely be my theme for 2024. Anyway, everybody, Nora, if you're still here, hey girl, it's 22 minutes. I know some of my colleagues, I mean, some of Kristen D's videos are an hour. Purse Trippins are getting to be 2 hours, but they're actually showing you and selling you stuff. So this is just story time. My AKA the bag lady, I'm loving listening to her talk about her dating thing, which would have been me, was me for the longest time. But I mean, obviously I was with Bruce for a year and a half, and then I met Pius, and now I'm married. So that's not part of our chatty chat time anymore, but she's funny as hell. She swears, she's like, she doesn't give a shit, which I think is, it absolutely is what connected me to Miss Philly, because she was pretty down and dirty a few years ago. She's kind of cleaned it up a little bit, but it's life. And AKA the bag lady, she's like, you know, I don't edit, and I don't edit nothing. I think that's part of the intrigue. I don't like all the polished videos where nothing out of the ordinary happens or whatever. So I'm not sure what out of the ordinary could happen in here. Maybe my hook will fall down, or Pius will walk in or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's it for me. I need to get this uploaded. I've got my clients tonight. Hopefully we'll be going for dinner. I haven't seen them in a few weeks. And that is it. So have a great rest of the day, everybody. Bye.